lá. O livro Walk the Talk foi escrito em 2005. Desde então, a gente tem experimentado um avanço tecnológico muito grande e também o trabalho remoto. Como que isso impacta nas nossas vidas numa implementação de uma nova cultura?
So much, I think. And then I updated the book in 2015, but even since then, so much has changed again. So I think what's changed primarily is that what we think of as a community has changed. So before the new technologies, and especially before the pandemic, we always thought that the community we're close to, the group of people who we associate with, were the people we were physically with. And so when you think about what culture is and how culture is changed by people being influenced by others, we say that culture is the behavior that is encouraged and discouraged within a community of people. So now it's not just the physical interaction with people we have to think about, it's the virtual interaction with people. And that was true before the pandemic, because now even more so. And I think that makes a different set of challenges for us as leaders in terms of you have to be more explicit, because the signals when you're virtually are less clear. When you're face to face with someone, you pick up body language, you pick up, without them saying something, you know whether you are fitting into the norm or whether you are out of step with what everybody wants. But when you're virtual, it's a little bit harder to tell, and you have to be more conscious, more deliberate with the messages that we send as leaders about how we expect people to behave, the culture we want to build. So it's the communication techniques that have changed more than anything.
Recentemente, você lançou o livro Accountability no Trabalho. Como esse tema contribui para o processo de mudança de cultura? E qual dica daria para aprimorar o nosso desempenho em accountability?
Well, I think I wrote about accountability because of all of the culture attributes that at Walking the Talk we use. We have 6. One of them is achievement, and accountability is a core component of achievement. And what I love about accountability is when you understand it deeper, the impact on performance, on financial performance, the customer satisfaction performance is very, very quick. So of all of the work we do on accountability has the fastest return on investment, which is always of interest. I think where it's particularly relevant to you here at ArcelorMittal is, one of your aspirations is empowerment. And empowerment and accountability are very closely linked. Because if you're going to be more empowered, if you're going to empower people more, you have to learn how to hold them to account. Because otherwise it becomes abdication. And that's not, empowerment is not about letting go, hoping it'll all work out okay, and just letting people do whatever they want. There is a process of being sure that people are qualified, that they have the skills, they have the support, and then just having enough of an understanding and just keeping an eye on what's happening, so you are actually holding people to account, so they still are delivering something to you. So I think ArcelorMittal has always been very strong at delivering. That's one of your big strengths, is that you achieve results consistently over a long period of time. But I think there's a new way of doing accountability, which is less command and control, less about telling people what to do, more about giving people the authority and the responsibility to take action, to make things happen, but at the same time being sure that they are still being held to account. So the book on accountability talks about accountability being a relationship between two people. One is the asker, one is asking for something to be delivered, and the other is the giver, who is promising to deliver something. And that relationship in an empowered organization is different. So that's an important component. And I think also you're looking to do more collaboration. And what is happening more and more in organizations is that accountability is not just vertical between the boss and their team, but it's also horizontal between one part of the business who then has to ask the other part of the business, can you deliver this to me? And that's a level of collaboration that is not just being nice to people, it's not just working together, it's actually learning how to make requests of people over whom you do not have authority, but whose support and whose deliverables you need for you to be successful. And that would be true here in ArcelorMittal. So there's a lot in this book, I think, that you'll find very interesting.
Olá, Caroline. Eu sou a Tatiane, da Trefelaria de Juiz de Fora. Bom, sabemos que para um processo de evolução cultural, o envolvimento de pessoas é crucial. Cada um tem a sua característica e personalidade. Então, como envolver perfis diferentes em prol de objetivo comum?
I love that question. And I'll add one other piece to the question and then answer it. Many organizations like you, I know, are working on diversity and inclusion. And so often people will say to me, but we want diversity, so why are we saying that we want everyone to behave in a certain way? So as you say, people have different personalities, people will do things in different ways. But what you're talking about with your culture, you want to be customer-centric, you want to be collaborative, you want to have humility, you want to be empowered. You want everyone to be like that. So my personality may be different from yours, and so maybe you're more relational, say, and I'm more task-orientated. So when I'm being customer-centric, my customer centricity may have more of a task focus. I'm always concerned about doing what I said I would do, delivering something. Your customer centricity, you may be stronger on building a relationship, but both of us need to have that same value of being customer centric. So I'm very clearly of the view that if you need a certain culture for your organization, you need everyone to hold those same values and those same principles. And then they will be diverse in the way that they carry it out. But if you want a collaborative organization, you don't want people who are overly individualistic and not able to collaborate. That for me is not, I'm just an individualistic person. Because I think even people who are naturally inclined to be individualistic can learn to be collaborative if it's important for their role, for their job, and for the organization.
O entendimento sobre onde se quer chegar é importante, mas o compromisso e a ação são fundamentais para que o objetivo seja alcançado. Qual dica você daria para começarmos a praticar novos comportamentos no dia a dia? E como os líderes podem ajudar nesse sentido?
Yes, because I think you've done the easy part, really. You have defined very clearly now where you want to go. You know what your culture goal is, and that has to be the first step, because that is what tells that's what tells people the expectation. And our organization is called Walking the Talk, and my original book was called Walking the Talk. And in a way, where you want to go is the talk. It's important because you have to state this is our expectations. But now we're getting to the section which is about the walk. And the walk, as you say, is commitment to action and behaviors and taking one step at a time. And that involves all of you at every level. And so some of it is about behavior, and as you say, behavior is habits. So most behavior is just about establishing a good habit. And that requires, I've found, taking one small piece and saying, this is the new habit I'm going to practice this month. So perhaps, let's say if it's more empowerment. I was coaching the chief executive of a very large organization here in Latin America, and his question to himself always is, do I need to make this decision? Or could I give it to someone else? And that's his daily practice. Like at the moment, his effort is, let me try to make fewer decisions and allow other people to make more. Just changing that one habit for him is not easy. He's a control person, he likes controlling. You know, that could take months of practice, but if he does it, it's going to change the culture of the whole organization because everyone's looking at him, right? So I think when we're talking about behavior, it's about taking small steps, picking one thing, giving yourself a nudge, you know, like every day, remember this, I have to do this, and there are lots of techniques for nudging and reminding oneself. That's the behavior. Then I think the second thing that we have to do is the leaders in particular have to start encouraging different behavior in others. So we all, actually everyone really, has to have the courage to look for good behavior and say, that was great, I'm so glad you did that, because that for me was thanks for being so collaborative. You know, that was exactly what I wanted, I appreciate it. So just little things like that. And of course the bigger courage is to be able to say, I don't think that was very collaborative. You know, when we did that, I think we could have done it better. So to have the courage to speak up and to state when we don't meet those standards. So those are the little things everybody can do.